What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 339, season 5. You guys know what it is, man. Appreciate you all. I saw all the comments, the love, the support for me finally coming back on the podcast, and it means the world to me. Thank you all for your condolences, just showing love in general. I really, really appreciate it. Also, if you don't know, we dropped the Young Buck interview. We're dropping parts. I just dropped the full version. Unfortunately, I was supposed to drop the full version right when I dropped part 1, but man, I don't know what it is. I think it's just it's two things, right? A horrible preparation on my end, kind of, because it kind of falls on me, but then it kind of doesn't a little bit because of certain situations, but preparation and equipment. So this Buck interview, the lighting on it came out so weird. Like in the beginning, it was really dark on the main camera, which is actually this camera that I'm using for the podcast, this main one. Came out really dark, and then Tafili, who was with me, ended up adjusting it like after 3-4 minutes in the interview, which thank God he did. I wish he would have not had it that dark in the beginning. So it's kind of a little bit his fault, but then the audio, those mics that we bought, I looked online, what kind of mics, wireless mics can I get for, artist interviews like this? And there was a few that said, hey, this. And I was like, I don't want to spend an insane amount of money, right? Like the ones that we used in the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary, those were rented out. I didn't own those because I just didn't have the money to, spend all this equipment. So I brought, first I brought a team with me, so I didn't have to worry about the audio or the video at all. Like the people that were with me, Cam, Frank, shout out to them. They were the ones that were, making sure all that, because they know how to do that. It's their job. They're really good at it. So I didn't have to worry about that. But they also had a top tier equipment because they worked at different companies with big corporations and stuff. So with the Buck interview, it's me trying to figure out what kind of equipment to use. And I was like, I can't afford to buy the equipment that they had, because we're talking like the mic. So the mic that I have right now that I bought is not the cheapest mics, but they're not the best either. It's $300 and it comes with 2 mics. So basically $150 each a mic. That's not cheap, but that's not really expensive, right? There's levels to this shit. The one that we had for the Get Rich or Die Trying, that's $600 a mic. So that's $1,200 for the 2 mics. That's the high quality one. And then they had a backup mic that was above it, which is really professional stuff, right? I didn't have no backup mic. I just had that. And unfortunately, with the Buck interview, the reason why I'm talking about all this is because as I was, looking over the Buck interview, audio was clipping. And there's like, when I drop like later on parts, when he's moving around, his chain's hitting the mic, it starts to clip a little bit. And then there's like a part on like when we're recording where for some reason, I don't know what this reason is. I actually have to contact the company and see. For some reason, like there's a quick 2-second skip on like what I'm saying and what he's saying. It's at different times. Then I have to go to like the camera audio to pick up that audio so you guys can still hear what we're saying. So it was like a bunch of issues with it, which is unfortunate. It's like my biggest interview that I've gotten is Young Buck, and somehow some shit just goes left. So I don't know what those other 2 interviews, what they're going to look like. I hope they're not, there's no damn. I know with one of them, he was so animated that the mic actually fell out of his pocket and I didn't even notice. So hopefully we actually caught the audio on that, which I think we did based off of what I saw. So I'm saying you run into like issues that what I need to do is, one, I need to see that mic situation. If I have to buy better mics, I'm going to see if I can. This is why it's important to try to make money off these interviews, because I'm paying sometimes these people to interview them. And then on top of that, I'm paying for the hotel to get there. I'm paying for whatever place that we're at sometimes. Luckily for Buck, I got to use his place. He invited me to his place. And he talks about that in this part 3 that I just dropped. So, like there's some things that are great, which I don't have to fund sometimes. And it helps me. It saves me a lot of money. But then there's times where, I have to go rent out this studio, have to book a hotel for a day or 2, and a lot of this stuff, and it just costs. The cost is quick, man. You'll end up spending thousands of dollars like in a snap, and you hope you get that money back. So yeah, I'm saying all that to say, the Buck interview didn't really turn out quality wise as good as I wanted, and even interview wise, really, it got rushed a little bit. I mean, you guys will see. It's a little over an hour, which is good time, but I had like, you'll see towards the interview, towards the end, I had like a certain way I wanted to go, and some things popped up, and it was just But, to Charlie and Buck's credit, they did say, hey, we'll do this again. It's not a big deal. I mean, you'll come by and we'll tap in. We'll talk about more stuff. And, he's very open to the idea of potentially doing a straight out of Cashville documentary, which I would love to do. It's not all lost. Not, at least it's Buck talked about a few things that he's never talked about. I'm glad I got that. That's what I wanted. I wanted something that, like, you guys haven't heard in other Buck interviews. Yeah, right now in this beginning phase, it's a lot about his, upbringing and growing up in Nashville, and a lot of the stuff you guys kind of heard already. You already know, you've seen interviews where he talks about that. But, towards like the middle of the interview, towards the end, it's more stuff that he hasn't ever spoke on, which I appreciate. That's what I look for in interviews. I like to watch people that ask questions that normally I haven't heard from an artist. That's hard to do, especially if an artist has been around for so long and has done interviews for so long, right? Like Buck did an interview with Vlad, and Vlad covered essentially his whole life story for the most part. But there's details that I know, that are something that I mentioned in the Buck interview that, he's surprised at. He's like, whoa, like, how'd you know that? And damn, your shit, which is cool. But anyways, check out the interview, guys. And please, if you have the means, support. There is the YouTube membership, which I mentioned in the last podcast. The YouTube membership is $8 a month. And the reason why it's $8, that's another thing that I want to clarify, is because, Vlad's is $5, but Vlad told me that he made a mistake because YouTube doesn't allow you to edit the tiers that, that you're in. So if you create a tier of $5 a month, you can't change that price. It's stuck at that unless you delete the whole tier and you lose all the members on there, which is a dumb thing to do, because then you're just resetting from zero. But they don't allow you to edit the tier. So what Vlad regrets is doing it at $5 because YouTube takes 30% of that. So he's not actually getting $5. So I took that tip from him and I bumped it up a little bit to $8. They take 30%. I don't know what that leaves me with. $5.50, whatever, per member. So that's going to help me out. Sorry, I'm still a little bit sick. That's going to help me out a lot. The people that are signing up, there's already people signing up right now. So thank you guys so much. And then there's a Patreon tier, which is at $10 a month. And the reason why it's $10 instead of $8 is because on there you also get Discord benefits. You get uncut, ad-free documentaries as well. So it's a lot more bang for your buck on the Patreon $10 tier. Way more bang for your buck. And, I would recommend, if I was, as a person watching on the outside, as a fan or whatever you want to call yourself, I would see, okay, what are the tiers here and what's more value? And that, to me, that $10 tier is the best value. The Stunna Island, $25 a month. Yeah, you'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to do a few more things on there as I keep adding stuff to it. But that's like for people that, that can afford that and are willing, to support that much, which I appreciate. I mean, there's a few people in that tier, which I thank for because they help me out a lot. Everybody that joins helps out a lot, whether you're joining from the $3 tier to the $10 to the $25 to the $8 one on YouTube, whatever. All of it is really, really helping me push to do these interviews, to do documentaries, to do all this cool stuff. So enough of that. Sorry for rambling on, but check out the Young Buck interview on the main Diverse Mentality YouTube channel, and let me know what you guys think. I know, a lot of people are showing love and support, saying congrats, Quake, for getting the kind of first official G Unit member, because I know I got Kid, but he wasn't like, from the original G Unit era and stuff. So Buck is the first one. My goal next is to get Lloyd Banks, and I've talked to Banks probably at least 2 or 3 times about doing an interview. And the last time I talked to him, he said he would do it. So I've been following up, haven't received a response. Like I said, I'm willing to travel to wherever he wants me to go. Doesn't matter to me. Just like I did with Buck, just like I did with anybody else that I just recently did interviews. It's not a big deal. Lloyd Banks is obviously one of my favorite rappers of all time. So for me to do that, I will gladly travel to wherever he wants to do the interview, whatever area, whatever he feels more comfortable at. And I hope, because I want to do that interview where it covers Banks' whole career. I would love to be the one that does that interview. I think that's, I don't want to sound like I'm entitled to the interview, because I'm not. Banks doesn't owe me shit, doesn't have to. The music he releases, all these freestyles have been dropping have been amazing too. So he doesn't owe me shit. I'm not somebody that has to do an interview with. I'm, nothing. You know, it's not a big deal. I'm not entitled to, to get that interview. He doesn't owe me shit, right? But I think anybody who deserves that type of interview where I can go over Banks' whole career, it would be me, because I did the whole documentary, What Happened to Lloyd Banks. I went over his career and I got over 1.2 million views. It's like, as a platform, I'm the one that has the biggest Lloyd Banks related thing, period. You can go on YouTube and check anything Lloyd Banks related, and mine is probably the most viewed one. That doesn't involve Lloyd Banks in there. Even if it involves Lloyd Banks in there, I'm sure I'm probably the most viewed, unless it's like a Lloyd Banks freestyle, which he did at Funk Flex and it's got like 4 or 5 million views. Like, I'm talking strictly interviews, strictly documentaries, or strictly that type of stuff. The only ones that ever like trump that in views is like the G-Unit ones, the G-Unit interviews, where Banks is a part of it. But yeah, enough of my rambling. I apologize for going on and on. But yeah, that's my next goal of like an interview that I want to get is Lloyd Banks. Obviously, I want to get all the G-Unit members. I caught some word, and I don't know if I should mention this to you guys because it is kind of behind the scenes stuff, and I don't want to I did catch some word that some people saw the Give It or Die Trying documentary, and it is the people that I actually wanted to see, and I'm not going to say names, but there is the G-Unit staff is what I'm told has seen the documentary. What does that mean? Who exactly? I don't know, but I am getting lots of word that a lot of people saw the documentary on the G-Unit staff and team and 50s team and stuff. I am getting different type of word and stuff like that, so that's really interesting, because that documentary has been out for what now? I want to say over 2 years, I think. Damn, time flies, man. I'm curious to see what because I've done that documentary, never really received any type of response from anybody from G-Unit. So, yeah, I want to get Tony Yayo eventually, get Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo, and then obviously get the big dog, Curtis. That would be, like, here's the thing with the 50 interview. I could have got a 50 interview way before I did YouTube, probably way back in like 2016, before I even started YouTube, for my website, Diverse Hip Hop at the time. But it would have been that bullshit where you're doing a quick 2-3 minute interview, asking them like 3-4 generic questions, and you're done. And I never wanted that. Like, if I'm going to meet 50, I want it to be in terms of like, he wants to meet me and he knows what I do. And he wants to, just like how Young Buck right now, like the situation with Young Buck was like, hey, I want to make this happen. I cut it out because it's right in the beginning of the interview, but in the beginning he says, Charlie was talking to me about doing this interview. He showed me some stuff, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, we'll make it happen and stuff. And he got more familiar with who I am. And that's why we got to vibe, and I got to kick it with him in the afternoon and all that stuff. And at his event, all that stuff. Because when the artist gets to see your content and see what you do and understand you, then there's a more open lane on what type of questions, can get asked, or, because 50's at a level where there's going to be probably questions submitted where you can't just ask whatever, it has to be like a certain thing. And I don't want that. I want with 50 to be like, hey, do your thing, man. I like what you do, and let's talk, man. What do you want to ask? Like that would be dope. And I want it to be at least a 2 to 3 hour interview. 3 hours would be preferably, honestly, I could go 10 hours easily, but 3 hours would be preferably the type of interview I'd want with 50, because there's a lot of questions. In that 3 hours, I wouldn't be able to fit in all the questions. But yeah, anyways, enough with the rambling. Let's get to the news finally. I apologize. I'm talking like crazy about random shit. But let's follow up on the Raekwon, Nas, Jim Jones diss I talked about in the last podcast. Raekwon, he addresses that rumor that Nas dissed Jim Jones. So let's go over the article. Recently, Raekwon and Nas teamed up for a collab called The Amarada. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The Amarada. And an alternative version of the track surfaced online. In it, the latter throws multiple jabs at an unnamed op, who many speculated to be Jim Jones. Some of his fiery bars include "Got some smoke with me, beef with yourself. You got me confused with your fabricated form of delusion. You're dusty, need to be bitch smacked." During an appearance on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast, Joe and Jada last month, Jones reacted to a video of a fan comparing him to Nas and arguing that he's the bigger artist. Yeah, which we talked about, but let's see what Raekwon has to say.
I don't gotta lie. This is worth everything. Nas did not write that verse for Jim. That was a straight shot Jim got hit with. And y'all made it seem like that was for Nas. That was for Jim. Nas wasn't dissing Jim. He wasn't dissing him. And the reason why he changed it, because he knew that at the end of the day, damn, Chef, I gave you these verses months ago, and now all this shit is popping up, which at the end of the day, he not standing on it because he's in another zone. He trying to get money. He doing this, he doing that. You know, Jim said what he said, and the fans responded, and that was that. Nas is all the way on the other side somewhere, not even paying attention to it that deep. He's not getting caught up in that. And now all of a sudden, when I'm getting ready to drop my album, Nas hits me and say, yo, Chef, I'm going to do another verse, my nigga, because I don't know, for some reason, I think that this rhyme right here is going to make niggas feel like I'm dissing Jim, and I'm not. You know what I'm saying? This rhyme I made way before all this shit even came up. And this is real shit, y'all. I don't got to fucking lie to y'all niggas, man. I promise y'all niggas, he wasn't dissing Jim. This ain't no diss record. And if it was a diss record, why would he put it on my record? Because guess what? I fuck with Jim. He know I fuck with Jim. Jim is a Cuban Links king to me. He's a Cuban Links disciple. That's my nigga. Jim would jump out of fucking Rover on me, see me somewhere in the city and come and say, yo, Chef, what's good? You all right? So I ain't getting in nobody beef. If it was a beef, it's no beef. So y'all took whatever that rhyme was that leaked, because I guess it leaked from somewhere. It didn't leak from us. But yo, that wasn't for Jim. I'm telling y'all niggas that. So yo, spread the fucking word, man.
I don't know. It wasn't a direct shot. And yeah, it can be interpreted as anything. But it's always interesting to me that these verses somehow leak around the time when like Jim Jones is saying something. And, you know, it's like the Jay-Z tactic, man. It's like the sneak this and just throw a shot. And, oh, if people say it's about you, I'm going to back out. Not saying that Nas is scared of Jim Jones. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think it's very ironic that the verse leaked and then, you know, it leaked around the time of all this stuff happening. Like, if this would have leaked, you know, let's just say the original version came out, which it did, and then like 2 years later, this verse leaked. Okay, then it would have been like, okay, there's no way that this is for Jim Jones. This is something that was, you know, came out way later, blah, blah, blah. People wouldn't have speculated that. But it's just very, I think Raekwon did this to get more attention on his project, and Nas was cool with it too. That's what I think. I think so. I don't know, man. I just think a lot. I'm a hip hop conspiracy theorist in a lot of senses, where these things are planned out so people can talk more about certain people's albums and songs. That's what I think. A lot of this stuff gets planned out way ahead of time. I mean, my favorite rapper literally plans out beefs. I mean, I remember Chamillionaire talking about it. How something Chamillionaire said about 50 or something, and then 50 said something about Chamillionaire. I think he said something like, these rappers that don't cuss, they think they're like the best or whatever, they're corny or something like that, because he was going at Master P at the time, and then Chamillionaire was also switching to not cussing. He said something like that, they're corny or they think they're holier than thou, whatever. I don't know what 50 said word for word, but 50's Chamillionaire like didn't take that and run with it and create a feud. He just kind of like respected 50 and kept it moving. But then 50 later ran into Chamillionaire and was like, 50 was like, I gave you this bone so you can take your career to another level if you want, by feuding back and forth for a little bit. You got to remember at this time too, on Chamillionaire's second album, Ultimate Victory, which to me is a classic, it was released a week after 50's and Kanye's battle that they had. September 11th was their battle, and then September 18th, 2007, Chamillionaire's Ultimate Victory came out. And all the attention was on 50 and Kanye instead of Chamillionaire's project, which was a shame because Chamillionaire's album, I don't want to say better, but let's just say that year in 2007, it was a top 5 album that came out. I think Graduation was the best album. Actually, yeah, I think Graduation was the best album to come out that year. Then 50's album, Curtis. Then Chamillionaire's Ultimate Victory. And then T.I. versus T.I.P. And then what else came out in 2007? Buck the World, I think. That's actually good because I really enjoyed Buck's album as well. But yeah, regardless, I'm getting to something totally different. But yeah, that's like my favorite rapper is known for orchestrating beef, so I wouldn't be surprised if this Raekwon, Nas, Jim Jones things gets orchestrated behind the scenes. There's a lot of... Remember when, I think it was Jim Jones that said this, actually, funny enough, and Joel Santana. I think they revealed that at one point they were going to start beefing with each other to create more buzz for a Dipset reunion, which is crazy. But then, like, I think it was Jim Jones. I don't know who it was, but they're like, this is corny. I'm not about to do this. So some people play into it and know how to market it and do it really well, and it's not serious. It's just a little bit back and forth in the public eye, and then they move on. And then some people actually take it serious, and there's some real, beef going on behind the scenes. But I don't buy what Raekwon's saying. That's my take on it. But yeah, that's what Raekwon had to say about that alleged Nas diss towards Jim Jones on that leaked verse. Continuing on, Cash Out. So we talked about him on the last episode. His sentencing was set to happen, and boy, did he get sentenced. He got sentenced to life in prison. So he is finished. He is not cashing out. He doesn't have a condo on his wrist, and I don't know what else he said in that song. I got a condo on my wrist, girl. I'm cashing out. I got a... What do you say on that fucking song, bro? Come on. Cash out. I gotta like, get these bars, bro. These are bars. 36. Oh, so ride around with that Nina. Yeah, I remember that. Ride with a hoe named Keisha, smoking on Keisha. But Diamond's talking. You know what's a fun fact about this song? You guys are gonna laugh at me with this. This is actually the first song I ever freestyled to. Do I have that freestyle of me freestyling to this shit? Oh my god, this is probably gonna be embarrassing. If I have that, you guys are about to listen to me rap when I was like 16 years old. Oh my god, I do have it. I don't know if I should play this. Yeah. Oh, hell no, I ain't playing this. Yeah, never mind. I ain't playing this. It's so bad. I ain't playing that. Maybe one day I'll play it. But yeah, that's the first song I ever freestyled to, which is hilarious. Yeah, I got Versace on my back. These hoes on my back. Yeah, so he got sentenced to life. Let's go over what happened. Cash Out has been sentenced to life in prison after being found guilty of rape, sex trafficking, and RICO charges. In his high-profile criminal trial last week, his mother, Linda Smith, was also convicted as a co-defendant and sentenced to 30 years, according to TMZ. The judge at his sentencing said that Cash had committed the very worst of human behavior. Cash Out's mother and another co-defendant who also received a life sentence all stood accused of allegedly luring women into prostitution ring. The prosecution brought out several alleged victims to the stand who corroborated the allegations while claiming to still suffer from PTSD, depression, and anxiety as a result. Cash allegedly lured them into the scheme with promises of money and career advances. The rapper's defense team focused on countering the RICO aspect of the case. There was no conspiracy to do RICO. There was no clear criminal enterprise. So his music career was cut short following an indictment for the case in question back in 2022. It contained a total of 13 charges. The most troubling aspect of this case is that women have been victimized. So yeah, he got, what's the sentencing? Jeez, man, these articles, all this shit, but they don't tell you how many life in prison, but they said like 70 years or something like that too. Let me see. Life imprisonment. Yeah. So an additional 70 years in prison. So that makes, I don't understand why they do these. An additional 60 years, an additional 20 years, an additional 10 years. That makes no sense. Like, you get sentenced to life. Why are you getting sentenced to 60, 70? And I mean, you ain't got 2-3 lives. Even if you did, if you got sentenced to 70, 60, 20, and 10, you got to live 2 more lives to get out. What's crazy about this is they offered him a deal of 20 years, and he didn't take it, which is like, looking back, I bet you he wished he took that. But this is going to sound crazy, right? And I don't want it to come off as like I'm on Cash Out's side. But there are people that murder people that don't get life in prison sometimes. So it's like, I never saw the details of this. I didn't know the exact details of this trial. And I don't think really it was really that public, to be honest with you. Or just people didn't pay attention because it's Cash Out. It's not Young Thug or whoever else. But there are certain aspects of this where the females involved have to take some type of accountability too. It's kind of like the Diddy situation. And I know people don't want to hear it. There's some people that are going to be like, you're tripping, Quake. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you got to think, like, For example, 50 Cent's ex baby mama, Daphne, who dealt with all that Diddy stuff because she did all that because she wanted her stuff paid for. She wanted her house paid for. She wanted her lifestyle paid for. And she willingly did that stuff. But the second Diddy doesn't want to pay, it's like, oh, you sex trafficked me. You did this. You did that. When everything was all good until you stop getting paid, then all of a sudden it gets flipped into you're a sex trafficker, you're a rapist, you're this and that. Not saying that that's what happened in this situation because I don't know the full details, but I'm sure a lot of it, not a lot, I'm not going to say a lot, it's actually far out, but I'm pretty sure some of it was definitely relating to that, where it was like he was walking away with a lot more money. They were willing to do what they wanted to do. They were probably mesmerized by a famous rapper, quote unquote. So it can't just be all on him. So for him to get life is insane. I think that's too much of a sentencing for this type of situation. Depending on what he did, if he actually did those things, which they accused him of, then obviously he's a terrible person. But there needs to be some type of accountability to other people as well. I know his mother is getting 30 years and another person's getting life. But yeah, I don't know. Something about it just doesn't like one person getting that much time is like insane for this. You know, there's people that, murder people. There's people that, pedophiles that don't get this type of time. And they're literally harming kids like directly. So it's like, I think he should have got at least 20, 30 years easily. That's like not even up for debate, especially if it ties to a lot of stuff. But life in prison for it is kind of, I was surprised by that. Let's just say that. I was not expecting him to get life. If you were to ask me what I was expecting, probably at worst 40 years. That's at worst. But I don't know I'm speaking ignorance here because I don't know the details of the trial. So for me, speaking from an ignorant perspective, that's my kind of take on it. But yeah, that's the update for it. And, it's over for his life. He's probably going to appeal and, try to get it overturned and stuff like that. But chances of that are very slim. Speaking of problems, 6ix9ine, he's not really been in the news, but he's back in the news for more problems. And it's not looking good for him. So 6ix9ine has dealt with no shortage of legal trouble recently. And today, the trouble continued. According to Billboard, the rapper appeared in Paul A. Engelmeyer's federal courtroom where he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of possession of drugs, thus violating the conditions of his supervised release, which they didn't write that in this article, man. These people did not know how to write. Reportedly, the charges are linked to MDMA and cocaine. They stem from a raid on 6ix9ine's home that took place this March. The prosecutor has agreed to drop 2 more counts he was facing in exchange for the plea. At the time of the riot, his sentencing is scheduled for September of this year. Depending on how things go, he could face anywhere from a few months to years behind bars. Allegedly, this is the second time 6ix9ine has violated the plea deal he made with prosecutors back in 2018. At the time, he famously testified against other alleged gang members, earning him a great deal of backlash. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 5 years of supervised release, though he was released earlier due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, they said if he keeps violating, he's going to actually face some insane time. So we'll see, man. He's stupid, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how this guy even still has money. Like, how is he moving around still? Is the music really streaming still that good? And you know what? It's a shame, man. It's a shame. And this is why it's a shame, right? Like, when I first saw this guy with rainbow hair and all this shit, I was like, this is corny. This guy's a fucking, like, what is hip-hop turning into? Then I actually listened to the music, and Gummo was actually a fucking good song. Like, I miss that aggressive, like, what the fuck does he say on the record, man? Blicky sticky like, all that aggressive tone I really liked, man. I wish there's a new artist that can bring that type of tone, that sound. It reminds me like DMX, Onyx Days and stuff like that. I really liked that style of him, but I just didn't like the other shit around it, the antics and all this crazy stuff. I mean, for 2018, he was running things, man. He made my YouTube month the biggest ever because of all this shit that he was testifying and all this stuff that was going on. I remember that month I had like insane amount of views. It was that run of like 2018 from September till the end of that year was Eminem Machine Gun Kelly, which was my biggest month ever. I gained 75,000 subscribers that month, had over 30 million views. Oh my God, it was just insane. And then after that, you got all this 6ix9ine stuff that was happening. So that was like my best stretch. I don't think I'm ever going to get a stretch like that in terms of like news and stuff happening all at once that are really, really big. I know the Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing happened, but I, for some reason, wasn't getting I think as times changed too by now, as live streaming and all that stuff kind of took more effect versus just dropping news. And I really wasn't reporting on it like as active as I was the Eminem, MGK, and the 6ix9ine stuff. But yeah, man, we'll keep our eyes posted on this. But yeah, it was a crazy run at the time, man. And he had a crazy career run too. But I do miss that sound. I think there needs to be a new artist that comes with like an aggressive sound like that. Because I'm tired of hearing the same type of shit. Sean Kingston. So his mother is seeking a lighter sentence. She's actually about to get deported from America, which is crazy. But hey, stop committing fraud, and that won't happen. In March of this year, Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, were found guilty on all counts of their federal wire fraud case. Their sentencing hearing is currently scheduled for August 15th, and according to Billboard, Turner is pushing for a lighter sentence in court. In a court filing on July 18th, she asked the judge, David S. Leibowitz, for a 30-month sentence. This is less than half of what the sentencing guidelines recommend, which is anywhere between 63 to 78 months. According to her team, however, even the low end of the recommended range would be far too harsh of a punishment for a 62-year-old with a myriad of health issues and minimal criminal history. Ms. Turner will go to prison. She has earned the prison sentence. Damn, her attorneys explained. However, a sentence greater than 30 months is a waste of taxpayer resources based upon the history and characteristics of Miss Turner. In the filing, Turner's team also cites letters from supporters describing her as a pillar of her community and a motherly figure whose home was a refuge. Miss Turner fed the hungry, clothed the less fortunate, and encouraged those who had lost their hope, they claimed. Her generosity and love for others did not have a limit, and she exemplifies a life lived of service to the public. Turner has also asked the judge to send her to a prison in the Miami area, which would allow her to receive more frequent visits from her family members and other loved ones. The love and support resulting from Ms. Turner's family and friends being able to visit her while in custody will allow her for a greater chance of positive matriculation. I don't even know how to say that. Through the prison system they added. Yeah, it's not looking good, though. I mean, hey, she is a 62-year-old woman, but she's probably going to get deported. I mean, that's what they're looking at actually doing, probably, is deporting her out of America, which is better than serving time in prison. I would much rather get deported because I am a U.S. citizen, obviously, but I don't know. Can you deport U.S. citizens? I think with Trump now, they could probably deport. Can U.S. I'm genuinely curious. No, U.S. citizens cannot be deported. However, naturalized citizens could potentially have their citizenship revoked through a court process if it's proven that it was obtained through fraud. Yeah, so basically, I'm a U.S. citizen, which I didn't obtain it through fraud. But if I did, that's the only way I can get deported. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to get deported, but she probably isn't a U.S. citizen, so they're actually looking at deporting her. And me personally, would I rather do, like, I'm a 100% be honest, if right now they said, hey, go to war for America, fight for Israel, and go to war, I would gladly get deported than actually go and fight a war, killing, people, in any type of war, really. I'm not a person that believes in that type of stuff. And plus, why us citizens go fight for these rich-ass motherfuckers all the way up in office, not caring? They're not sending their kids to war. They're not sending their family members to war. No, they're sending all of us that work day-to-day jobs and have to, scrap to get by to war. So I would never do that. I'd rather get deported outside. And that goes for any country. I'm not fighting for any country. If I go back to my country and they want me to go to war, I will get deported there as well. I don't care. I'll go live on a fucking island somewhere. I'm not going to war for no country. I don't care what place it is. It doesn't matter to me, man. That I think is sad when they force people to do that in any area, in any situation. But yeah, I'm getting off topic here. Regardless, I think they're going to deport her. I don't think they're going to give her the sentence, or they'll probably give her a light sentence and say, hey, we'll give you a lighter sentence, but you're going to get deported, or hey, you take this longer sentence and don't get deported. Who knows? But we'll see moving forward. This is why don't commit fraud, man. Sean Kingston, you were famous. I'm still famous now, but you were a superstar, man. I'm sure you still make a lot of money from your music. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo with Justin Bieber probably still gets insane amount of streams. Beautiful Girls probably gets. I know you get streams from me with that song. Shawty, I Can Take You There. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite records, man. That bitch is smooth. I'm telling you guys, go listen to that. Sean Kingston, Take You There. That is one of them joints. So you get streams from me. I know that. I don't know if it's a penny that you're getting from me, but still, man, add all those people up. Hey, man, you're walking away with some money. So it's with these type of situations, a lot of people, celebrities, when they start to fall off, quote unquote, fall off, they try to still live this lavish lifestyle, and it's not worth it, man. It's not worth trying to live a lavish lifestyle forever. Hey, if you fell off, humble yourself. Hopefully you were smart with the money and you don't go and blow your money on supercars and mansions all day 24/7. So we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens with this moving forward. But overall, it's a crazy situation. 50 Cent, man. I always mention 50 on this podcast, as always. This just happened, I think today. Yeah, I want to say today. 50 attempted to clown Rick Ross, a.k.a. William Roberts. And speaking of William Roberts, I'm working on a documentary, which I mentioned to my Patreon supporters. So I was supposed to release in June, but I'm actually working. I don't know if I should reveal this. Should I reveal this? Nah. I'm working with close sources with this documentary. So that's why it's taken. I want to do it the right way. I had it originally planned as just like research, but now I'm actually talking to verifiable sources. So it's going to take a lot longer. Regardless, I am working on a William Roberts, a.k.a. Rick Ross documentary talking about the whole stolen identity thing. But 50 decided to clown Rick Ross and basically said that Ross was cuddling up with a man. You know, so 50 posted an AI image, which I hate these damn AI images 50 be posting, man. It's an AI image of 50 on a boat. And in the caption, he said, your man was looking real saucy kissing that boy on that boat. That's not AI. And if you look at the video, it is Rick Ross sitting like on a chair in the yacht, in the boat. It's not a yacht, it's a boat. And the person that's, you know, kind of leaning above him and, you know, like leaning in towards him, looks like a male. I'm not going to lie. You know, at a quick glance, it does look like a male because very, very short hair, like buzz cut hair, and not really any curves that I can see based off the video. And because of that, you know, from far away, it does look like a male. But it turns out it is a female. It's Jasma Kendrick. Apparently that's the female. And, you know, I don't know if 50 just said that to troll, which probably that's what he said it for, just to troll. But, you know, people were correcting him saying you're wrong. You know, that's not, you know, a guy. It's a female. And then Ross obviously went on Instagram stories promoting his champagne and responded to 50. So let's hear what he has to say.
It's Curtis. You're so infatuated with my lifestyle. You see me out on the yacht with a black, beautiful woman. And I hope you don't have anything against black, beautiful women, Curtis. I mean, what are you insinuating here? I mean, and we know you just had your heart shattered when you found out what we found out. We all found out together. And we know that's the mother of your youngest son, little Bruce Leroy. Man, but you got to give a beautiful black woman an opportunity, Curtis. We know you may have been hurt. You're a hurt hoe, but get over it, man. Enjoy a glass of fine bubbles and move on in life. Be happy. Hey, I need somebody to send me some stills of Bruce Leroy, and I need one or two of the niggas show enough.
In classic Ross fashion, he starts to clown 50 and, you know, obviously makes fun of 50's baby mama that, you know, went with Diddy, which, you know, a lot of people are asking me, is that an L on 50's end? Kind of it is, because that is a woman that you had a child with. So it's for me, it's, you know, I think idolizing rappers when it comes to idolizing. I guess looking up to rappers when it comes to relationships is probably the worst thing you can do. They're all pretty stupid in that category for some reason. Majority of rappers just don't settle down, don't get married, don't have kids, and just, make dumb decisions. And on that aspect of 50's life, he's made a lot of dumb decisions. That's one of the aspects in his life that I've always been like, that's a horrible decision on what he's done. But is that an L? It depends on how you look at it. Are you embarrassed that came out? Then yeah, it's an L. For me, I would be embarrassed if I found out that my ex, baby mama was out here doing all kinds of stuff. But you got to think of it from this perspective too. 50 had moved on a long time from her. They broke up. I don't really keep track of this shit, so I don't really know. Probably 2015. That Diddy shit was happening, 2017, 18? So this is a long time ago we're talking about here. They had a kid, and that's about it, really. He didn't get married to her. They didn't have more kids together. Is she a good-looking woman? Yeah, but the shit that she was doing, hell no. Like, that's the thing. These females, they may look good on Instagram, they might, but the shit that they're doing behind the scenes, not all of them, like 70% of them, they're whores, man. Whores. How does Black youngsters say whore? They're whores, a lot of them. They to live this fantasy lifestyle, they'll get shitted on, pissed on, humiliated, all kinds of shit. It's sad. But hey, man, that's why everything that you see in front of your eyes is not always what it is, man. A lot of people fake their lifestyle, fake a lot of the shit that they're doing in their life. And the people who actually got money, they usually don't show off, man, for the majority of the time. I found out, I'm not going to say whose name this is, but I found out a really prominent name, huge in the hip-hop world, is actually essentially broke. It's not, right now there's a rumor going around with Jay-Z and Beyonce being broke. That's not them. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about Nas. I'm not talking about Eminem. These legendary. This guy is huge. Like, at one point, he was so popular on one platform that, like, everybody knew him from that. And he's still huge today. But I got actually shown documents, which is crazy. I got shown, like, as I've gotten bigger in this YouTube hip hop world, like, I've made connections, and I've never thought in my life I would be seeing some of these things in front of my eyes sometimes. Some stuff that I've seen that I know behind the scenes that I've never talked about because I'm just not the type of person to spill out that information unless somebody, does me dirty in a way. And then, hey, if you want to go back and forth and I leak some information, hey, that's on you. But majority, I'm not looking for that. I'm not a clout chaser or whatever. So to me, none of that shit matters. But I found out a bunch of documents, information of a guy who popular in the hip hop world. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because it'll probably expose who it is, but they're broke essentially. Like, if you looked at them right now and what they got, the following that they got on social media, the brand deals that they've got, the houses, the cars, all that, you would say this person is really rich. They're well off. But then you look at the books, and this person's borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. It doesn't have much liquid at all. And what I mean by doesn't have much, like, he's got $1 million liquid, which to me and you is a lot of fucking money. Right now, if I had $1 million liquid, I would be happy as shit. But to that person's standard of what you would assume they would have is very low, right? Like, his broke versus my broke is a whole different thing. So I'm not like pocket watching and clowning. I'm just saying what you guys see in the public sometimes 90% of the time isn't what it is. What's the statistic in America? It's like 78% of people are in debt to their neck where they can't even. So if you see all these people driving these fancy cars and living this lifestyle, and because I'm wondering sometimes, I'm like, damn, I work all day, every day, and I'm not out here traveling. I'm not out here doing all these crazy things. I see all these people traveling every damn day, and I'm like, where are these people getting this money? What do they do? What is their job? Where are you getting this income from? Just be aware that a lot of this lifestyle shit is different. So anyways, I went on this whole rant. 50 and Ross are always going to beef with each other, man. I think that's a beef that's never going to be squashed. I think it's going to stay forever, like Game and like Ja Rule. I think those are the three that 50 is always going to be beefing with. It's going to be Ja Rule, obviously. There's no mending that. Game as well. I mean, there was a certain moment where we thought it was going to be mended for a little tiny bit when they talked in that club, but that And then Ross. There's a lot of stuff that happened in between the beef that caused a lot more issues, which I am going to do, which is my first ever Who Really Won. My long format Who Really Won was 50 Cent versus Rick Ross, and that format was horrible back then. So I definitely want to redo that one. I want to do one that's like properly done, breaking down everything. In the future, I will, whenever I have the time to finish these other documentaries. And by the way, I want to make it clear, too, because I know it probably confused people. I am not stopping the documentaries, by the way. I'm not stopping them. They're still going to come out like they normally come out. I'm actually working on one right now, finally finishing it up. I finished the research. I finished the audio of it. I just have to edit it. That's it. And that's coming out hopefully this week. It's a short one. It's nothing super long. But, yeah, the documentaries are going to be continuously coming. Don't worry about that. So that format is just a new format with these interviews and then doing documentaries as well. It's a great way to get a lot of content coming. Continuing on, Clipse's manager reveals how Swizz Beatz saved the So Be It with a trip to Saudi Arabia. This is an insane story. So if you didn't know, when Clipse dropped their Let God Sort 'Em Out album, there was a So Be It Part 2 with a different beat. I fucking hated it. Like 80% of people hated it. There was about 20% fan base that really enjoyed it. But I hated it. When I heard it on there, I was like, this is horrible. And I immediately went to thinking it's probably because they can't clear the sample on the original version with the Arab, the Arab sample that's on there. Well, this story breaks down what exactly happened and why it eventually ended up on streaming platforms. So during a recent interview, Stephen Victor reflected on one of the obstacles Clipse faced ahead of its release on Let God Sort 'Em Out. It's almost been 2 weeks since Clipse unleashed their album, their first album in over 15 years. For the most part, the release went off without a hitch, according to the duo's manager, Stephen Victor. However, they did run into one small problem. During a recent chat with Audiomack co-founder Brian Zuswich, Victor revealed that it actually took Swizz Beatz traveling to Saudi Arabia to save the day. Clipse was struggling to clear the sample of Talal Madaz Mazuka Akobdulu, which probably butchered that, for the track So Be It. For this reason, the song was missing from streaming platforms when the album was first released. In its place was an alternate track called So Be It Part 2. Swizz asked, "Why didn't you call me about So Be It?" Victor recalled, per All Hip Hop. "I told him I did. I sent it to you." He said, "I didn't realize it was that record. Let me handle it." He said, "I'll connect with the right people in person and get it resolved." And that's exactly what he did. Shortly after the release, the sample was cleared and the final version of the track replaced the alternate on streaming platforms. This isn't the only obstacle Clipse encountered while putting together Let God Sort 'Em Out. Yeah, they talk about the Kendrick Lamar verse and all that stuff. But that is, shout out to Swizz Beatz, man. A round of applause to him. I can't listen to that. Sorry, my voice is killing me here. I can't listen to that second version of So Be It. It is ass cheeks. So I'm glad that they actually cleared that out. But that is a very, very cool story, man. And to have to, find connections in Saudi Arabia to get to this guy and clear it and then pay him probably. He's probably like, what are you guys going to pay me? Blah, blah, blah. But it makes sense as to why the video came out and then it wasn't on streaming platforms. Like, that made total sense because I was like, why is this video out here and then we can't stream it? But I have YouTube Music, which I think now, as I still listen on Apple Music, but as the months have been going on, I've been going on YouTube Music a lot more, man. I think that's a better platform because everything that's on YouTube is on there. So any mixtape track that you're listening to from artists, you literally have it on there. Everything. So I would recommend YouTube Music. If you don't have it, go ahead and check it out. You get that with YouTube Premium, which is worth it. I think YouTube Premium is the best bang for your buck because no ads on videos on YouTube. On top of that, you get YouTube Music, and you get like a bunch of other stuff that I forgot what it is, but you get a lot of different cool features. So I'm not paid by YouTube to say that. It's not like a plug or anything. I'm just letting you guys know, putting you guys on some game if you don't know about YouTube Premium and then all the other stuff that comes with it. Yeah, man, crazy story. Continuing on, I just want to talk about this because I'm a pocket watcher. Joe Budden, man, round of applause to this guy, man. Bet on himself and is clearing about $20 million a year just from podcasting. Oh my, I wish I got to that level. If I got to $20 million a year just from podcasts, you know what I would do with that $20 million a year? I would just be making documentaries. I would just take that money and have a field day with some of the best. Like, I have documentaries in my mind that I wish I could create, but I just don't have the funds to do it. And unfortunately, on that Give It Your Die Trying documentary, I ran into those obstacles where I didn't have enough money to put up to do what I actually wanted to do in there. And that's frustrating because you have to find an alternative with less budget to fill that gap of what you wanted to do. There's a lot of graphic motion design stuff I wanted to do on there, but I just couldn't afford to hire a person to do all that stuff. So I kind of opted for more of my type of style of editing, which is a lot cheaper and a lot more simpler, I guess, not more animated and stuff. But it came out really great. I mean, it still came out really good. But you know, if I was making $20 million a year off this podcast, one, I'd be first off helping. I'd be doing a lot of giveaways because I did the PlayStation 5. I gave away 3 PlayStation 5s when we started the podcast, and I'm trying to do more giveaways in the future, you know, as we get the ball rolling. But I'll be doing a lot of giveaways just because it's like you guys, you know, it'd be you guys supporting me making that kind of money because that's what Joe Budden's getting his money from. It's Patreon. I think he has 70,000 something like Patreon subscribers. I'm nowhere near that. I'm not even 1/100th of that. I'm not even 1/1000th. I think of that. I don't even know what 1/1000th of that would be. 700. I don't have 700 members on Patreon. Yeah, I'm not even close to 700 either. Yeah, so Joe Budden makes a lot of bread, and he bet on himself, man. Let's go over the article a little bit. Joe Budden accidentally revealed, I think about a month ago, that he made about $1 million. He makes about $1 million per month on Patreon. I think he revealed like 1 month it was like $970 something thousand in that month, which is insane, right? At $1 million a month, that's $12 million just off Patreon. Then you got to add YouTube, you got to add sponsorship deals, you got to add all the I'm sure audio side of things too. They make money off the other audio side, which I got to figure out how to do as well too, because that needs to be figured out. Because that's like I don't get enough listeners on the audio side versus the video side. So I gotta once I expand that and it grows on that end, then yeah, definitely. But I'm gaining followers on there, which is great. So shout out to all of you. Let's see what the article said. He turned down the deal, Spotify deal, which was for 2 years, $44 million, which is basically $22 million in a year. But the problem with it was Spotify only wanted his content on Spotify. So that would limit your growth. It would limit the growth on your YouTube channel. It would limit the growth on, any other platform. When it's only on one platform, that's it. Whatever audience is on there, that's the only audience you're going to reach. So any type of deal where it limits you from growing on other platforms, I wouldn't do either. So shout out to Joe Budden for being smart enough to see that. He didn't just see the money and was like, I'm going to jump in that. He said, nah, I'm not going to take the money right now. I'm going to build this. It's going to take years. And I'm going to go through trials and tribulations, losing my other co-hosts, Rory and Maul. And I'm going to figure this shit out. And he did, man. He rebranded. He got new people on there, Ice, Ish, and whoever the hell else, Mark Lamont and Queens Flip, the guy from Queens Flip. I forget his fucking name. Fuck, man. I'm terrible at names right now. But yeah, he brought a bunch of people in, Melissa Ford and all these people. And, it worked. It worked. And as you can see, he's making astronomical amount of money. If I could just make off this podcast, if I could just make $500,000 a year, I'm good. I'm straight. Because at least with that money, I could pay staff. I don't really have to do a lot. Right now, I'm not doing too much on the podcast, but I'm still doing a lot of the work. I don't really have to do. It's kind of like an autopilot. Once you make a good amount of money on the podcast, you can just go on autopilot. And the first profitable year was the third year. So, and then this last year, obviously, what happened with me taking a huge hiatus because of personal family things, it obviously hindered a lot. But that's my goal. If I can get to like $500,000 a year, I'm more than happy. I don't need anything more than that. I think that's a good number to where I can pay people to get stuff done. I can get some profit and, live off some money. And then on top of that, invest it into documentaries because that's where my focus has always been. And I love the podcast. I love talking. As you can tell, I talk by myself. I'm staring at a camera talking to myself, essentially, which is crazy. For someone who's like looking from far away, they would know like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But that is hard to do, to talk to yourself on the camera. So doing that is a whole different skill in itself as I've gotten better with it as the years have gone on. But yeah, man, round of applause to Joe Budden. I just want to talk about it because round of applause to him. Big feat on his end. Let's get into the 50 Cent songs. I wanted to talk about this because, I got interesting feedback when it comes to the list, right? And I'm actually going to pull this up and see what people are saying. So I made this list, 50 Cent, top 50 Cent songs list, because it was 50 Cent's 50th birthday. I was like, why not do a top 50 Cent songs list with top 50 tracks? The problem is it's really hard. It is really, 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 it might have been the hardest thing I've had to do. No joking. And I've had a lot of crazy, the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary was something that was just a lot of shit going on. But in terms of like sitting there and actually thinking and just focusing on music and just trying to, you could say 50 has well over 1,000 songs. Let's just say that, 1,000 songs. Trying to stuff 1,000 songs into a 50 slots. It is extremely hard. And if you don't believe me, you try it for yourself. You're going to be leaving out songs that you never thought you would leave out. You're going to be scratching your head. You're going to sit there scratching and that's what I was doing. I was scratching my head the whole time. I was like, what did I get myself into? Sometimes I just, what's the problem with me, and I need to stop doing that. I just sometimes just tweet shit. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And then I fucking get myself in this situation where I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. Nah, I actually got to follow through with this and do it. And, but it was fun. It was fun because it made me really look at what kind of, like, as 50 being my favorite rapper, what kind of music from 50 do I really listen to? And I actually checked my streaming numbers on like Apple Music and looking at what songs that I actually listened to going back. And this was my legit list. And this was really what I listened to the most and a mixture. So this list had nothing to do with popularity. This list had nothing to do with impact. This list had nothing to do with any of that stuff. This list is solely what I like. That's it. What track inspires me? There's a lot of factors of why I like certain tracks from 50. But that's all this list is. It's solely what I like. It's got nothing to do with anything else, right? Because people are commenting, like In the Club is the biggest record. Why isn't this number one? Like, I love In the Club. And this is what I hate about this list. It makes me downplay and talk bad about other songs. And it makes me like downplay Get Rich or Die Trying when obviously that's my favorite album of all time. I love every track on that album. But if you look at 50's whole catalog of music, there are some songs that are better, that he released that are better than some tracks on Get Rich or Die Trying. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as a complete body of work, obviously Get Rich or Die Trying is his best album, period. And it's the best album I've ever listened to. But, I went over the list, number 50 till all the way till 21. And now let's go over the top 20. And I'm going to talk about why some of these songs, I'm going to talk about why I put them where they're at. So you got number 20, You're Not Like Me. One of the cops, You're Not Like Me. You shot one of the block, You're Not Like Me. Amazing record. It appeared on Guess Who's Back first and then eventually got remastered into this more professionally sounding song, and it ended up as a bonus cut essentially on Get Rich or Die Trying. So that's a number 20 iconic song. There's no way that song is not top 20 in my eyes, at least. You got Poor Little Rich. I love this song. I don't know what it is. Something about it just makes me feel really good. And I love the beat, man. Sean Money knocked it out the park. Really nothing to say on that record. Then you got 50 Bars of Pleasure, 50 Bars of Pain. When I'm dead and gone, people are going to remember my name. It's 50. That's an iconic 50 record. I think if you were to look at 50's career, you would say it's a record that, like, a lot of people know from him, period. Just because it's, even when like documentaries of 50 are made, like that's a song that gets used in a lot of documentaries. It's interesting because it captures 50 really well. Then you got like Me. This is not a record that's iconic, but I love the beat on this. I love 50's flow, accent, the So Serious record. I'm so serious. And then the whole, he basically created this track after doing the $150 million year that he did on Forbes, essentially. It wasn't announced at the time, but you can tell 50 was talking that shit, I move like Godzilla, Gorilla, UNIT, Grave Digger, Ass Puffy and Jigger, my pockets get bigger and bigger. So he was talking his shit. And the outro on that record is just classic too, man. I just got back from the UK, a little jet lag from the flight. I love that song, man. I think it's underrated. And then I Put a Hole in Your Bag. I don't know what you heard about me. Like, that's another one that That's number 16, and I felt it deserved that spot, man. That's one of my favorite mixtape cuts, period. So going to 15, I'm Supposed to Die Tonight. Obviously, like, this track is essentially Many Men Part 2, but it's just, I don't know, it's a movie feel to it. Eminem killed the production, and I always listen to it, man. It's just one of those tracks that I've never skipped. Like, this top 20, sorry, I keep burping, man. I'm having problems right now. This top 20 is essentially songs that I've never skipped when it comes to, like, if it ever plays randomly on my phone or anywhere, I've never skipped this song ever. So, like, top 20 is like I've never skipped these songs whenever they come on. So you got 15, I'm Supposed to Die Tonight, number 14, In the Club, which we know why. It's iconic. Beat is just insane off the rip, but I don't think it's like 50s in the top 10 as best song ever. It is an amazing fucking record. I know. Baltimore Love Thing, we know that storytelling on that. 50 doesn't get a lot of props for the storytelling on this song. A lot of people give Kendrick Lamar and all these artists props, but 50 doesn't get that lyrical props on these type of records. And, you know, amazing track. Patiently Waiting. What else is there to say on this song, man? Eminem just introduces 50 in the best way possible. The beat is insane. They both deliver. There's no way that's not a top 20 song. Easy. You can even argue top 10. I Get Money at number 11. For some reason, man, I love, and you'll notice this on the top 10 list, I love the motivational 50 records. The ones where he's talking his shit about being the boss. You know, he's talking about, grinding in the streets. So that's why some people expected me to have Ski Mask Way a lot higher, but I don't know why. Ski Mask Way is a great song, but it didn't for me hit the top 20. It just didn't feel that was right. So I Get Money at number 11, and then let's go in the top 10. So 10, Hustler's Ambition. I mean, come on, man. Light the fire, eat again. I won't burn no rest. You up there. Yeah, I need you to hate so I can use it for your energy. Amazing song, man. Iconic. Let me get a swift of this water. This drink. Number 9, Position of Power. This beat is just, and this is what I mean. These like boss records, like, ha ha ha, you got them counting money, like, just, you hustle me, I hustle harder. I got what you need. That weed, that dope, that powder. My G packs. Come on, man. Every hour on the hour. They shoot when I say shoot. So I'm in a position of power. Come on, man. Like, that's a record that doesn't get as much love as it's supposed to. 21 Questions, for me, the concept of the track and the fact that this is the song that first introduced me to 50. Yeah, this is actually the first song that introduced me to 50. I think I said it in the Give It a Try documentary. This is the first song I ever heard from 50, and then I heard it in the club and all this other stuff. And this is what made me like 50 first. And from there, that's when I listened. I told my sister, give it a try, and then, ended up getting the whole album and enjoying the whole album. Then you got the Good Die Young. I love, man, the verse on this, like 50 speaking from a point of, like, I love when 50 gets personal, and just, does the storytelling and, like, what does he say on the record? He says, if I die, what do you say? If I die, let her read on my tombstone that I tried, or something like that. And I'm butchering. Let me actually look at the lyrics, man. I need to stop butchering this stuff. They say the good die young. I guess these grimy live a long time. Sitting fancy whips, sip champagne and shine. That's what he say. Yeah, he says, let my tombstone read I tried, and from the start, everything I wrote was from my heart. So it's always going to be number 1 on my chart. I get sensitive to my shit. Don't fuck with my art. Sometimes it sounds like I'm playing, but I'm saying this shit is real. This ain't a game. They say the good die young. So, yeah, man, I love this song. This is one of those records that I just wish it was on streaming platforms. That'd be really great. And then you got Piggy Bank. I have this fascination with this track where 50's on top of the world and he's just setting shots at everybody, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful record. And I love the production. Like that sample is hard too. I went to the actual original song, and it's like such a good, whatever record. And then the top 5. People were surprised that I had some songs on here, but They Burn Me, I've always loved that song. I think 50. This is why I get mad at Curtis being what it was as an album, and Before I Self-Destruct being what it was as an album. Like, those are 2 album titles where he should have got more personal. Either with Curtis, because it's your actual real name, you should have gotten more personal on the album and made records like They Burn Me. Or Before I Self-Destruct, where you're going insane, you're about to self-destruct, get more personal. And They Burn Me was recorded in 2008. So that was, like, this is a question that I would ask 50. Was that meant to be the first single off of Before I Self-Destruct? Because that would have fit that title. Because everybody's turning on you. You're getting used for money. Everybody's needing you for stuff, and you're just like, I can't deal with this shit, and I want to just explode, and people are just cursing me and all this stuff, and everything bad's going on in my life. So They Burn Me is that personal song where not only he talks about people in the music industry burning him, I'm sure he's referring to Game and anybody else that's done him dirty, but then he talks about his first baby mama and his son. She called the cops on me because I don't love her like I used to. Try to fix what was wrong. Guess it hurts because I'm gone. My son, he loved me, but she tries to poison his mind. Acting like they ain't got everything from my grind. I say a prayer for her like, God, please change her heart. All the hatred for me is tearing me apart. You get it. I butchered that shit, but you get it. It's a really, really underrated 50 song, and I really, really appreciate those personal 50 records. So that's the reason I had They Burn Me at number 5. Same with Mini Men. It's another personal record where you can hear it in 50's voice. He's been through that pain. He's been through that war. You guys know the verses and the lines, all that record. It's, Hamo shot me 3 weeks later. He got shot down. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason. You got bad fucking breathing. You get it. I'm the Man is another one of those records. Came in the world crying and fussing. We ain't have nothing. Every ghetto I know the same. Trying to make a little change. Preacher man come around talking. I don't want you to keep walking. I don't put the powder in the pot. Whip and talk, blah, blah, blah. You get it. And then too much on my mind right now. I'm on the ground right now. Like that to me is like the anthem of like, I'm going to go get it. This record also symbolizes for me 50's return musically. Had he stuck to it, he would have been back. This is, you know what? I could make an argument that this is the last true independent song from a 2000s artist to go double platinum. I was actually thinking about that. Because I'm the Man went double platinum, and it's an independent release. There's no label behind it. It's just G-Unit Records. That's it. That's 50's label. That's it. And that went double platinum. 2 million sold. And you mean to tell me that 50, if he decided to focus on an album, even release it independently, he wouldn't sell at least 100,000 first week? Come on. Because 50's never had streaming included in his sales. Only with I'm the Man. And look, he did double platinum. 2 million sold. So that symbolized his return. And to me, I'll never forget, I was hanging out with my friend who's 4 years younger than me. And when this song came out, it was 2015, aka 2016 a little bit. So I was 20 to 21, and he was like just graduating. He was like 17 or 18. And I remember I had my car at the time, the Nissan 350Z. We're whipping it, and I think we had this girl come in the car, and yeah, she was sitting on his lap because my car was a 2-seater, and she needed a ride back to her place. And I remember playing I'm the Man, and she was like, yes, I love this 50 Cent song. Oh my God, like I play this all the time. I'm like, what? I'm shocked because 50 hadn't been relevant with the youth musically like that in a long time. Like, think about the last time 50 had a record where the youth was really bumping it. That was a 50 song. Besides the Jeremiah Down on Me, which came out in 2010. There's probably I Get Money. Maybe Baby by Me. Maybe you could throw Baby by Me on there. But essentially, I Get Money and AO Technology, which is 2007. So to me, it symbolized his return. And I was like, this is it. Like he mastered the Southern sound too. And he was just hitting this pocket of music that was really good, man. No Romeo and Juliet came after that. And it's like he just kind of dropped the ball. So I love this song. I always listen to it. It's one of those tracks that I've always gone to and listened to all the time, man. More than a lot of 50's older music. It's crazy, but I had to put it at number 3. I was like, this song is just too good. I listen to this too often. I would be lying to you guys if I had this in like the number 40 slot. I would be lying straight up to you guys because I listened to it that much. So that's why I had I'm the Man at number 3, which surprised some people. And then Window Shopper, number 2. That song is just like, if you accomplish things in life, Window Shopper is that record. You listen to it. I mean, when I bought my R8, bro, I was happy. That's the first song I played. It reminds me of that Get Rich or Die Trying scene where 50 buys a Mercedes and he's bumping it. It's one of those, and 50's flow, he never used this flow ever again. He just used it for this song for whatever reason. It's like a Mace type of flow. He flows over the fucking beat like water, and that beat is crazy. Like, dude, it is out of this world. The video is shot in the most beautiful fucking place in Italy or wherever the fuck it's at. I'm in love with everything of this song, bro. White Porsche, what do you say? White Porsche Carrera's milky. I'm on the ground in my paper stack and I'm filthy. It's funny how get the food facing at me. You ain't got that hard to get at me. Like, he just flows so well. It's like water. And this is a rare moment where 50's, and I always say there's only a few artists that can ever do this, and this is what separates good artists from the best, is when an artist gets on a track and it sounds like he's just talking to you. And that's what 50 does on Window Shopper. It just sounds like he's talking to you. That's it. And it sounds so good. So Window Shopper to me has always been, one of those records. And somebody in the comments was like, oh, I know a corny person made this list. He put Window Shopper as number 2, that pop-ass song. And I was like, you don't even realize the original version is him dissing Jadakiss, Fat Joe, Ja Rule, and everybody else, and Nas. And it's like, you guys just don't know that because y'all don't know your history. But then I had number 1, Place to Go. And I think apparently Eminem, this is Eminem's favorite track, which I had no idea. I know that Eminem liked one of the verses, but I don't know if it was his favorite. First, let me explain why it's number 1. That beat is futuristic. That beat is only a beat that 1, Eminem can produce, and then 2, that 50 Cent can rap on. I think nobody else could actually rap on that beat. I think it was specifically made for 50, and it sounds futuristic when it came out, and it still sounds good now and futuristic. That's the first thing. Second, this track has every bit of 50 in it, meaning, when people clown 50 and say he's not lyrical, you can point on this track and be like, he's lyrical. You're lying. When people are talking about 50 making great hooks, you can point on this track and say this is an amazing hook. When people talk about 50's flow, you can point at this track and say 50's flow is insane on this track. When you talk about 50 singing a little bit, melodic hooks, he has a bridge on here that goes, what is it? Why do I always fuck this up? Dom Perignon, a drink till I get to that bitch. And Mandre gonna introduce me to the hood. They're gonna listen to my words, and before they feel my shit. Break it down. You got Yayo in the background with an insane ad-libs. So 50 is delivering everything on this track in one track. And he's painting a picture, like no pun intended. I know he says in the track, picture me in a pimp hat, picture me starting shit, picture me busting my gap, picture police saying get out a picture of that. But he's literally painting pictures in the verses, man. There's no better 50 record. There's not a single 50, well, there is probably a few. But there's not, like, the way that this is, actually, there probably isn't a single 50 record like this, where there's lyrics, there's a bridge where he's singing, there's an insane hook, there's 28 on the ad-libs, delivering great stuff, there's an insane production, there's insane flow, everything. It's every switch that you want on a rapper, it's on this track. And that's why I gave it number 1. Because when you really look at it, 50, he has records where it fits this, but not to this level, in my opinion. Yeah, but that's my take. I know. So a lot of people didn't get mad at the tracks that were on here. They mainly got mad at the positioning of tracks. Like, a lot of people were giving me flack for putting 50 Shotcha, a.k.a. Problem Child, at number 43. A lot of people felt like that should be a lot higher. I can understand that. Same with Ski Maskway. Same with Fuck You. Same with... let's see here. What else? Like High All the Time, which 50 has some of the crazy Smile, I'm Leaving. Like, these type of tracks, people felt like could be higher. But what people don't realize is I took out a lot of records. Like Heat was one I was debating on a lot. Like Heat was one of those records I was like, damn, this has to be on here. Thank God was jumping, and you're rapping over a fucking gun cocking. If I Can't is one of those. Wangsta. Actually, never mind. Wangsta was not what I was thinking about. What Up Gangsta? Then you got The Massacre, Candy Shop, just a little bit Disco Inferno. Then you got Curtis. You got Fully Loaded Clip. You got My Gun Go Off. You got Man Down. You got Touch the Sky with Tony Ayo. What else? Ayo Technology. Then you got Before I Self-Destruct. Strong Enough was a record that was almost going to make it on this list. It was so close. Strong. I only have Flight 187 off Before I Self-Destruct on this list, which is crazy. Them Days Went By. So Disrespectful. Psycho with Eminem. You know, there's a lot of records that I left off that I understand where people are like, why did this song not make it? But it's impossible to fit every single song on here. It's just, you know. So let's read some of these comments, man. I don't know where I would even start on ranking his best 50 songs. I got to give kudos for even attempting. A lot of folks are going to comment saying you missed this or missed that, but this takes effort. Good stuff, Quake. Shout out to you for that comment. You know, and some people that were saying like, oh, you don't have this song on this list. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's at this number. But people just, you know, and then No Guns Come Out. People are mad at that. They're not. But Guns Come Out doesn't have like any deep, like it's an insane beat, it's an insane hook, but it doesn't have like anything deep to it. You know, some people were mad that I had New Day on the list, but I love New Day. I think 50 raps that shit on there. You know, shout out my friend Abdullah. He said, high all the time, I'll still kill him. 50 shots are way too low. He's like, I like Window Shopper number 2. Get the Message probably is too low as well. But yeah, there you go. You got War Angel. You got records like Red Rum, Cream 2009, I'll Do Anything, I Line Hitters. All those 4 tracks I left off. You got Forever King, Respected or Check It, Touch Me. You got all those other records on Forever King, which I can't think off the top of my head. But, you know, it's hard to make a list, man. I'm telling you guys, it's hard, but I attempted. You know, another thing, too, people mentioned Thicker Than Water. And Thicker Than Water, because it eventually got turned into a G-Unit track, I didn't include it on the list. I know the original version had 50 only on it, but yeah, I didn't put Wangsta on there. I didn't like Wangsta, to be honest, to be on a top 50 list. I like Wangsta, but not top 50 worthy, in my opinion. You know, and the guy was like, this guy said this should be a random list of 50 songs. How's it a random list? I literally got like album cuts, deep cuts, mainstream cuts, mixtape cuts, like. Anyways, I'm doing a list again. I'm going to drop one on Friday with just the album cuts without including Power of the Dollar. Just Get Rich or Die Trying all the way to NL Ambition. The ones that are on streaming, as well as singles. So, like, I'm the Man as a single, No Romeo and Juliet. You know, singles that came out, I Get It In, Get Up, and all these other Lucy's that came out. I will include those, but as far as, like, anything outside of that, no, it's just going to be an album version. This guy said, damn, that's a good list. Respect. I feel pretty good that I know I know all of these songs, some very rare, obscure songs that only true fans know, so big up for that. My number one would probably be a toss-up between Mini-Men and I'm Supposed to Die Tonight. I agree, that's a good toss-up. This list is way off. Place to Go is not a bigger record than Wangsta. I Get Money, Hustle's Ambition. Not sure what's based. Yeah, this is not based on popularity. That's the problem, too, is people don't read the caption when you say, you know, hey, this is not a, I literally said on the caption, it's not a popularity list. This is just my opinion of what I like. This guy said, Wider Indian Kid must have made this list. So everybody has their opinion. This guy said this list is ass. Window Shopper at 2. People like popcorn, cheesy ass raps. Yeah, see, people have their own opinion, but I knew people weren't going to agree. Nobody should agree with anybody's list. It's damn near impossible for people just to agree with people's list. But, hey, I took out the time to do it, so it turned out to be what it is. Let me get this drink, and let's continue on with the Billboard Hot 100. All right, Billboard Hot 100, Alex Warren at number 1 with Ordinary. Justin Bieber debuted at number 2 with Daisies. Morgan Wallen, number 3 with What I Want. Number 4, Golden. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Hunter XEJ. Okay. Morgan Wallen, Just In Case, number 5. A Bar Song, Tipsy, Shabuzi, number 6. That's crazy. That song's still in the top 10. Love Me Not, Raven Lene, number 7. What Did I Miss? Drake, number 8. This has fallen off the charts pretty quickly, but I think it's because they're not giving him radio play because Universal's having their lawsuit with him. So you kind of got to give Drake a little bit of leeway with that. But I get it. Lose Control, Teddy Swims, number 9. And then Die With a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, number 10. Luther, Kendrick Lamar, SZA, number 11. Going down the list, let's see. A bunch of just Justin Bieber debuts. Drake, Nakia, number 31. Did any of this Clipse songs chart on here when it comes to the album coming out? Doesn't look like. Oh, Chains and Whips debuted at number 42. Kendrick Lamar, Clipse. A few Travis Scott debuts. Kick Out, Travis Scott, number 50. Travis Scott, Don Toliver, Champagne and Vacay, number 53. Dumbo, Travis Scott, number 54. Interesting. Cardi B, Outside, number 61. So Be It, Clipse, number 62 debut. POV, Clipse, Style of the Creator, number 65 debut. Travis Scott, 2000 Exertion, number 72 debut. Travis Scott, Where You Was, number 74 debut. Clipse, Ace Trumpets, number 78 debut. I think that's it. Yeah. The Birds Don't Sing, Clipse, nice, number 92 debut. So they got about 4 songs on here. That's pretty good. Actually 5. MTB TTF debuted at number 95 for Clipse. Travis Scott and Glorilla debuted at number 93 with Shine. So cool. They got about 5 tracks, Clipse. Shout out to them, man, on the Billboard Hot 100. Hopefully a lot of these songs stay on there, like So Be It. I hope that climbs up the charts. It's a really good song, man. So yeah, that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Go ahead and check out the Young Buck interview. We got more interviews dropping. Appreciate you guys always for the support, for listening, watching, all that. I'm glad to be back. My voice is still cooked, but hopefully I get it back within this next episode that comes up. But once again, appreciate you guys. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you're listening to this, and peace.